Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Freddie Jennings coming to you live from the Seniors Blue Book. And today we have some familiar faces that many of you know, but we have Chaz and we have Victor with Home Instead. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about, of course, you personally and how you got into the business, but also kind of dive into some great questions and information for people that are watching that might have some, might need some information along those lines. So again, let's get started. Victor, tell us, first of all, before we get into your personal background, Halloween, right? I'm kind of theming everything around this Halloween thing. So we were going to dress up, but we kind of took it back a notch.
Yeah.
He actually, though, you had ears on, like pink ears and a pink shirt on before I got here.
Yeah, I did have on some Care Bear ears.
So I don't know, he wore a tie for you all, for the viewers. So let's talk about Halloween. So what's one of your favorite Halloween costumes that you wore throughout your life?
So I missed the Halloween costumes we used to wear in elementary school that came in the little box, plastic. You remember those with the little elastic band and you just hoped it would last the entire day? I miss those costumes. They were so simple.
I know, or even homemade costumes.
Right.
Did you ever do make any homemade costumes?
Oh yes, definitely.
I did a Rubik's Cube one year, and then the other one I was Lindsay Lohan. If anybody remembers Lindsay Lohan, but I was the jail version.
Oh. Okay.
So I obviously will keep it G-rated, but I kind of added some features that made it very Lindsay Lohan in a full jail costume with cuffs and her mugshot.
Oh wow.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So, Chaz, what about you? Do you have any costumes that stick out?
Well, I've been things from Dr. Seuss to grandmothers. It just kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for, but I was super disappointed that I could not be Jigsaw today because I had to do orientation before this. So I didn't think that would set the precedence for my caregivers.
Tomato. Because here's my vision I was telling her I had this vision of her coming in as Jigsaw on a tricycle into her, this is the new staff orientation, this is their fearless leader over here, as Jigsaw. And I feel like it would set a good precedence, I personally think. I may not sleep for a few nights after that if you were my new HR boss, but So Victor, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, how you got into Home Instead.
Well, my background is actually in music. I started out, graduated with my degree in music business and then my master's in the entertainment business. So I worked a lot with a lot of artists, national recording artists, local recorded artists. Going on the road, it kind of took a toll on me. Mm-hmm. And I also felt like I needed to do something that was bigger than myself.
Sure.
Actually going out there, it's fun being out on the road, but it can get very overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do something that I felt was a purpose.
Yeah, making an impact.
Yeah. So I decided to join Home Instead and been happy ever since.
That's awesome. So I won't ask you to list artists that you were on the road with, but we're gonna have to talk after because now I'm I have to know. I get celebrity struck even with. Do y'all know that show Siesta Key?
Yes.
Okay, on MTV. I'm sorry for admitting it, but I watch it. Okay, watched it when it was on, and I saw them around town, and I seriously went running and screaming up and down like a little girl. Yeah. So I can imagine some of the artists that
I can tell you some great stories.
Ooh. This is the after show. Stay tuned. What about you, Chaz? Tell us a little bit about what your background is.
Well, my background has always been in healthcare. I have 2 master's degrees. One is in healthcare leadership and one is in health law. Mm-hmm. But my original background was in insurance. And I started in the senior care industry and skilled nursing facilities. Okay. So, and then I went from that to assisted living, and then from that back to SNF, and now to home health. So I'm trying all the different realms of senior care, and this is one of my favorites so far. So
interestingly enough, it's amazing how they all tie in.
Yes.
Right. And how everybody's connected. Mm-hmm. I always say it's 1 degree of separation in this industry, and I really believe it.
Absolutely.
So.
Definitely.
Well, awesome. Well, Victor, could you tell us a little bit about transitional care? What exactly is transitional care in relation to Home Instead?
So transitional care deals with when you're coming home from a facility or coming home from a hospital. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of planning needs to go into that to make sure that there's no readmissions. So you want to make sure that the home is safe, make sure that, you know, you have the proper nutritionary things in the home. You want to make sure that somebody's going to be there to actually help keep you out of the hospital, make sure you're taking your medications, things like that. Any exercises you might have to do to go into rehab, then, you know, those are things that most people don't take into consideration when returning home. But it is extremely important, especially to make sure that we're reducing readmissions to the hospital.
Exactly. So I was just going to say is I'm sure the hospitals love this program because it does eliminate, or skilled nursing, it eliminates them from being readmitted. As we know, looking at diet and safety in the home and making sure that they have transportation to follow-up appointments, all those things are things that you connect with your clients.
Right.
Okay. So Chastity, we're just talking about hospital readmission. So besides some of these things, can you specify what your company does in the home to reduce these readmissions?
Yeah, so we actually do a safety home assessment when clients are enrolled in our services. And then, you know, a funny statistic is 1 in every 4 seniors are readmitted to the hospital within 30 days of discharge. And a lot of the times they're sent home with limited resources.
Right.
That's just because of the strain of the healthcare industry on the case managers in the hospitals, the doctors, the nurses, everything like that. So we provide a helping hand when they get home. You know, we can take patients straight from the hospital to home, get them set up, make sure they're safe, make sure they have food, make sure that, you know, a load of laundry's done, make sure that they have their prescriptions. Because a lot of times patients are sent home and they don't even have a way to get their prescriptions.
Right.
So how are they going to take their medicine without that resource? And then, you know, from skilled nursing facilities, it's the same concept. You know, those patients are, again, sent home with sometimes limited resources. So we're there to not only be an advocate for their safety at home, but to make sure that they're not readmitted back into the hospital. Or a lot of the times when we work with skilled nursing facilities, we can actually readmit them to that facility versus them going into the hospital as well.
Within that 30-day window.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not only there to support our seniors and our clients and patients going home, but to also help in the big picture with readmission costs. I mean, it's estimated that we spend about $50 billion a year just in readmission costs for seniors that go to the hospitals. And that's both unplanned and oh my gosh, I'm missing the word. Unexpected admissions. So.
Okay, and kind of tying into those services, you can provide personal care as well. Like if somebody needs assistance, let's say they're coming home from hospital or rehab, and they continued assistance with their activities of daily living.
Absolutely, definitely. Yep.
Perfect. And is there a minimum, I guess I'll throw this question in now, is there a minimum number of hours that you serve clients, up to 24, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, normally it's minimum 3 hours, and then we can go up to 24 hours, 24/7, 7 days a week. So it just depends on what they need and how much support they have at home already.
Right.
Okay. And so you talked about a home assessment, like a safety home assessment. Victor, can you kind of walk us through what that looks like?
So we will come into the home, we do an assessment of the entire home, every room in the home. So we want to make sure that, you know, windows are working, lights are working out front, that it's easy to get in and out of the home for the senior. We want to make sure there's no trip hazards inside the house, any throw rugs or anything like that.
That's a big one.
Definitely.
They're pretty, but
they can
they're
be
a huge
dangerous.
tripping hazard, yeah.
We want to make sure that, you know, wires and plugs and things in the kitchen are safe, that, you know, if there's an emergency, they have a phone next to their bed, carbon monoxide detectors, smoke detectors. So we go through everything. You know, we want to make sure that there's grab bars if needed. If not, then a shower chair. Make sure there's no way that they're going to slip in the bathroom. So, you know, we even check the garage sometimes to make sure that, you know, if they're transitioning from inside the home to the garage to get in the car, that they're able to step down. You know, so there's little things that people don't think about.
Right, until you're in a situation.
Until you're in a situation. So we try to go through and we'll give suggestions of things that they could do, like rubberized stickies on the back of the mat, on the back of an area rug,
Sure.
to make sure it doesn't move, or, you know, a grab bar in the bathroom to make sure they're able to get out of the shower or use the restroom, things like that. So
Perfect. So one thing that came to my mind, that if somebody's in a skilled nursing, sometimes they're there for, let's say, 60 days, 90 days, something like that. They may not have family that's here or involved. So sometimes a person's electricity may not be still up and running. Things like that, that, again, people don't think about. These are things that you would assist with to make sure, again, like home safety,
Yes.
they're set up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Chaz, what is continuity of care and why is it important?
Oh my goodness.
The magic question.
Yes. Continuity of care is pretty much a patient's whole care picture. From going to their primary care physicians, to going to specialists, to going to the hospital, to going back home, to follow-up appointments from that hospital stay. So what we do at Home Instead is we have a director of client services that monitors our patients or clients, so they have continuity of care. So if they need to go see their physicians, we work with the physician's office and with the clients on getting them to those appointments. If they go into a facility, we follow them into the facility to make sure that even though facilities have their own staff, to make sure that our clients are comfortable. They may or may not continue with our services while they're in that facility.
Sure.
But once they go back home, we follow up with them. We make sure that they're taken care of in order to continue with their care and the services that they need. And then we refer them to other services. So I mean, not only are we an advocate for the client, but we work with tons of different organizations, different companies, different levels of care, and different services that we can provide to our clients.
And it's a great point, like in the community setting, such as an assisted living, or let's say the client has been with you for 5 years and then they finally move, they're used to those caregivers.
Exactly.
So being able to, I always would recommend at least like 30 days that they would continue to follow them, and again, make sure that their transition, they kind of wean that off. Or if they still, just want the companionship. A lot of people just keep that person for visiting and have the community provide the care.
Exactly.
It's all about working together to make sure that the client's happy.
Yeah, and in our services is great for people moving into assisted living facilities, because we provide that extra level of comfort. It is a lot and a very stressful time when people move from their homes into any kind of facility. So the more support that they have and the more people that they're familiar with, that they're around, the better transition it's going to be for that patient, but not only that patient, but the facility as well.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely. Well, that's a great kind of recap on continuity of care. It looks different for every single person, and we all know like it can change by the day or by the hour.
Yes.
You could have a set plan for somebody, and that something happens. So they, like I said, they provide excellent resources as well as just their services. So let's talk about how to get in contact with your office and kind of the geographical location of what you cover. So this is Home Instead of Sarasota County. So Victor, how do people get in touch with to get your services?
So the best way to get in contact with us would be to go on the website and follow www.homeinstead.com. There you're able to, based on where you live at, they can get you directed to the proper office. Chaz and myself, we pretty much both between our offices, we cover the entire Sarasota County area. But each office is actually tied together because we work together. We want what's best for the community, and we want what's best for our seniors.
Right.
So each office may be individually owned, but the culture and the way that we go about our care is all tied together.
It's like a big family.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And we'll post, of course, the information to be able to reach out to your office and get more information. Chaz, the other side is the staffing. So I just want to touch on kind of what are you currently hiring, but what's kind of the staffing process when someone comes on board, training? What does that look like for you?
Okay. So yes, we are hiring. We actually direct people to our website, www.homeinstead.com. You can go on there and see the different locations and then the different career postings, because we have overnight positions, we have caregiver positions, we have home helper positions. So there's different options for different people. We do hire CNAs, LPNs, RNs. You don't have to be any of those things to work with us. To become a home health aide, it's fairly easy process. We also provide continued education, trainings. We have caregiver meetings. I mean, as far as retention goes, our retention rate is really good, actually. And we do things all the time for our caregivers. We have a reward program. We have, we give out gift cards. We do parties. I mean, every month we're doing something that involves our caregivers.
It's so important for people to feel valued and appreciated.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you do a better job when you're happier at your job, right?
Exactly. Yep,
So
definitely.
it ends up leading to the great client care.
Yes. Yep. So.
Awesome. Well, do you have any other words of wisdom before we go ahead and come off the air?
Words of wisdom.
I feel like we should insert piano music, like words of wisdom
With
Victor.
Victor.
That could be a separate segment. I like it.
Words of wisdom is prepare for the unexpected. You know, most people will put these decisions off and say, we're waiting for a rainy day and it's storming outside.
Yeah. Crisis.
So yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you're planning early, and you want to make sure you do your proper research. You want to know the difference between an agency and a registry. You want to know, how often, how many caregivers are you going to be working with. One thing that sets us apart is that we actually will bring the caregiver out, and someone from our staff in the office will introduce the caregiver. So anytime a caregiver is going out to a new client, we actually take them out there, we introduce them. So, it kind of helps start to build that relationship.
I like that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that, so that's a great idea. Awesome. I just again got a visual of Chaz writing in to train her staff as Jigsaw. I'm sorry. They keep popping back in my brain. And I'm a little bit scared because I'm really scared of Saw. Are you going to be that for Halloween this year though?
Yeah.
Like when you do your thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll stick around for pictures of that. And segments of, piano music inserted. Words of wisdom with Victor.
Yes.
So thank you both for spending time with us today.
Absolutely.
We love and respect your company and
Thank
appreciate
you.
everything you do every day for seniors and
Thank you.
families. It's sometimes can be that thankless job with all the hard work, but you know that people truly do recognize that and care about
Yes.
that. So all right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have a great Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks.